Yo, what's up, y'all? It's Saturday, which means it's time to hunt for a perfect parlay for week 15. Let's get in, y'all. Yeah. And with that being said, because I just did the intro, just don't forget to like and subscribe to the page. I appreciate everyone who's been following me, rocking with me, and whatnot. So this is the show for the perfect parlay, where I whip up a parlay for each week and try to get lucky on it. You know what I mean? So this is week 15, and before we get into it, here goes my disclaimer right here. Yeah, I had to write the disclaimer down. So, disclaimer: I am not an expert. Please do your own research. Any gains or losses are strictly on you. Take accountability and gamble responsibly. Yeah, it's gonna be a very short disclaimer. So pretty much with that knocked out the park, let's get into it, right? So we're gonna start this out right here by going over the debacle that happened in Tampa Bay with Atlanta versus Tampa Bay. If anybody doesn't know, I'm a Carolina Panthers fan, so I'm very hype of what just happened. Tampa just pretty much plain and simply lost. Don't understand how they lost that game. You could say the defense is trash. You could say that Atlanta had a lot of help from the refs. But then again, Atlanta was doing a lot of penalties on themselves as well. So you don't really know who to blame, but if there's any finger to blame, it has to be that secondary, man, where it was getting tore up by Kyle Pitts and everything. Kyle Pitts. Let me show you how irrelevant Kyle Pitts used to be. Obviously, we know him as the stud tight end for the Atlanta Falcons. Drake London ain't playing, so we knew he was going to be the primary target right then and there. But when Drake London is playing, Kyle Pitts is non-existent. I had this guy on my fantasy team last year. No production. So I never even tried to touch Kyle Pitts. Who knows? He might be floating in my free agency right now. But it's a little too late right now because we're deep into the playoffs. Congratulations to anybody who made the playoffs in their fantasy league. I just snuck by at 6 seed. I'm not going to even go over the fucking soap opera that I have to say was my team. We're ridiculous. How you be sitting number one and you go on a 6-game lose streak? That's me right here. I'm on my 6-game lose streak. But anyways, let's go back on this right here, man. So the Bucks, they lose to New Orleans. They lose to Atlanta. They pretty much give up the tiebreaker to Carolina. Go Panthers, keep pounding. And all the Panthers have to... So let's not get up into that right now. You know what I'm saying? Let's not get into that just yet. Because with the loss from Tampa Bay, now rolls out the games. And the first game, obviously, I'm going to talk about is Carolina versus New Orleans. Well, not talk about, but these are all the selections. But anyways, we want to talk about Carolina versus New Orleans. Carolina is set as his favorite at 2.5 spread, right? Carolina got to get that get back. I'm going with Carolina. I'm going to pick Carolina on this one. They got to get that get back, man, because New Orleans came in, I forgot which week it was, but they go to Carolina, beat Carolina straight up, man. CJ Horn, man, got burnt up. All those 2 touchdowns that I counted, that was on CJ Horn's watch. So Carolina, they got to get that get back. And plus, come on, guys, we have a chance to actually clinch the division within 2 games. And we make the playoffs. Lock in, my niggas. Lock in. But don't worry, guys. When I'm going through these games, I'm kind of just going to rip and run through them. You know what I mean? So Carolina, I'm going to pick them. 2.5 spread. Going to pick Carolina to beat New Orleans in New Orleans. All right, so let's go. So with that being said out there, and, just pretty much cover the Atlanta-Tampa Bay game, Tampa is also on my teams I got a beef with list. They really are. Don't worry, they're not going to be on this episode coming up with teams I got a beef with, but they are on my list. So let's continue. We're going to knock out all the easy games for week 15, starting with Arizona versus Houston. The point spread set at 9.5, Houston being the favorite. I'm going to choose Houston. You really can't sleep on the Cardinals. The Cardinals might actually meet the spread. But then again, with that Houston defense, the might is very, very slim. Very slim. This is a Super Bowl caliber defense. But then again, if Arizona catch you lacking, they gonna make you suffer and pay for it. You know what I'm saying? They're like New Orleans. You just can't sleep on those 2 teams. You know what I'm saying? These teams with just 3 wins and everything, you can't really sleep on them. It's like they battle. They fight. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man. I just hope Houston offense could actually make the fan base happy, because a lot of people obviously is not happy with the offense. No one has no quarrel with the defense. The defense is like 360 perfect to me. So I select Houston on that one. The next game, that's easy game, is Cleveland versus Chicago, man. Hopefully Kevin Stefanski does not fuck the whole team up. Keep Shador in there, because now they decided, hey, Shador's going to be the starter for the remainder of the season. Whoop the fucking do. You should have been done this in the beginning. So now that's feeling, so that's now like Stefanski and the front office are going to feel pressure. Straight up, man. Let's just enjoy the show, man, that Sanders going to be putting on. Chicago is the favorite, set at 7.5. I see Chicago beating Cleveland, but Cleveland has that defense. But then again, Cleveland did struggle, and they allowed Tennessee to put up like at least 28 on them, with Myles Garrett being probably the best defensive end in the season right here. You know, he can rattle the cage of Caleb Williams. They have to stop the run. They have to contain the pass and everything like that. But with Cleveland, that's for Cleveland. But all in all, I just feel that Chicago is going to come away with the win, because I know that loss to Green Bay was like, it's not over yet. It's not over yet for Chicago. So I know they kind of got that man, we gotta beat up on somebody, man, because we lost to Green Bay. We could have beat them, but we gotta, yeah. So Chicago, I'm rolling with Chicago to win that game. Next game right here, I'm gonna have to skip that one real quick, and we're gonna go to the next game. New York Jets versus Jacksonville Jaguars. Spread set at 13.5. Jacksonville being the favorite. Enough said. Jacksonville is going to win that game. Jacksonville is kind of sitting comfortably number one in the South right now. All they got to really do is just win. All they have to do really is just win. But then they got to also worry about the Texans. That's one team that they have to worry about as well. So they have to win. The Texans have to win. It's going to be a race for the first in AFC South. Next game, Las Vegas Raiders versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Spread set at 11.5. Eagles being the favorite. Obviously, it's going to be the Eagles. Enough said. Las Vegas is not even strong enough to even to put up a fight against Philly. And Philly need to be feeling some type of way after that loss with LA Chargers. They got to be feeling some type of way. They really have to be looking at themselves. I know Sirianni is going to be on their case. So it's time to show up. Playoffs is in a couple fucking weeks, yo. Playoffs in a couple weeks. And if you can't even just put the dominant foot on the Raiders, I don't know what I can say about the East. All I know is this, man. Philly, you are giving the Cowboys too many chances. You're giving them too many chances, yo. The next game that will be an easy selection will be Tennessee Titans versus the San Francisco 49ers. Spread set at 12.5. San Francisco being the favorite. San Francisco is going to beat Tennessee. That's really nothing much to talk about in this game, man. Like, just hope that Cam Ward has a good game, and I should have kept Tony Pollard on my fantasy. But it's whatever, man. You live and you learn. You live and you learn. Next game there should be an easy pick. Minnesota versus Dallas. Point spread set at 5.5. Dallas being the favorite. Dallas better beat Minnesota. They better beat Minnesota. Because I think if they don't win against Minnesota, that's it. Their playoff chances are over, I think, with that loss right there. And the elevating win from Philadelphia, whatever. But yeah, man, they better beat Minnesota. They better beat them, and I'm selecting Dallas on this one. So, all right, with those easy games knocked out of the park, let's go with the difficult games. That's kind of you have to think on these ones. Buffalo versus New England. Spread set at 1.5. Buffalo being the favorite. This is a tricky game right here, because a lot of people will say, hey, man, New England might be the best team in the AFC. If you really look at their schedule, are they the best team in the NFC? There's only two notable teams that they beat on that schedule, and that's the Bills and the Bucks. They lost to the Raiders. And who did they lose to? That was someone else that they lost to, but I definitely remember it was the Raiders. This is a team that is good, but they're not really test and proven. I just don't see Buffalo, especially in this part of the season right now. Winter Josh Allen, I don't see them losing to New England. Especially, I just can't see them. But then it's possible. The spread is 1.5. It's very fucking possible. It's very possible. But I think I'll go with Buffalo. I'm just like, I can't see them not in this point of the season, just them getting beat by New England. And then this is a very important game right here, because if New England wins, they clinch. I think if New England wins, they clinch. If Buffalo wins, it's like they should be like in the race to being number one in the East. But all New England has to do is win this game and they clinch. But I just don't think that Buffalo's gonna let them clinch. But this will be a good game for an underdog parlay. So for the parlay, I would choose Buffalo. Underdog, I would choose New England. The next game that is kind of one that I had to really think about is LA Chargers versus Kansas City Chiefs. Points on the point spread being set at 5.5. Chiefs are the favorite. I have to roll with the Chiefs on this one because just how Chargers played against Philly, and Justin Herbert being hurt, and Kansas being very desperate. Pretty much the Chargers have a chance to knock the Chiefs out completely. No, yeah. Just you lose this, you're done. So pretty much Kansas City's playoff starts tomorrow. It starts tomorrow for real. And I think they have a very relatively easy schedule going in towards the end of the season. But they got to beat the Chargers. They have to beat the Chargers in order for them to actually stay alive. If the Chargers beat them, the Chargers basically kicks them out, and the Chargers just have to just keep winning out, man, just so they can have a spot in the playoffs, because I don't think they're gonna catch up with the Broncos. The next game that I had to kind of sit back and look at was Washington versus New York Giants. At first, I had to sit back and look at that. Then I thought about it. Washington just got demolished by Minnesota. They barely could do anything offensively. Then you got the New York Giants. I have to go with the Giants on this one. Spread set at 2.5, Giants being the favorite. I just have to go with the Giants. I mean, like, these are two teams that really have nothing to play for, but something to prove. Competitive sport, I just feel that Dart and them are just they're gonna come away with that victory, man. Like, cause they really want to ball, even though the season is for naught. They still want to ball out. So I'm gonna go with the Giants on that one. Baltimore versus Cincinnati. Point spread is being set at 2.5. Baltimore being the favorite. I'm like, desperation for Baltimore. Cincinnati is like, I feel like if Cincinnati wins enough games in this division, they could sneak up into second or first place. They could sneak into second place if they just beat Baltimore, because they beat Baltimore before. And if they do this again, I'm like, whoa, you just beat Baltimore. I mean, shouldn't that matter right there? Like division wise, shouldn't that matter? I might have to just pick Cincinnati on the underdog, because just like how they performed in Buffalo last week, even though Joe Burrow threw 2 interceptions, one being brought back for a pick 6, that was amazing. The shit that he was doing out there. Shit, so good. I had to pick him up off my fucking fantasy. I had to pick him off of a free agency, put him into my fantasy team, and drop Justin Herbert. Herbert is not doing it no more for me, man. He was doing well for me. Then I put my faith in him. He fudged me too bad. Like, it's like, ugh, pause. So anyways, with that being said, for the parlay, I might just pick Cincinnati again, man. Just because Baltimore's defense, this is gonna be a very crazy, I'll say this is gonna be a shootout. This is gonna be a straight up shootout. And for the over and under, just pick the over on this one. But yeah, I'm just gonna go with Cincinnati. Yeah, Cincinnati. Indianapolis versus the Colts versus the Seahawks. Indianapolis versus Seattle. Point spread is being set at 13.5. Seattle being the favorite. I'm gonna have to go with Seattle, man. Indianapolis is too hurt. I don't care who you starting. The rookie quarterback, Phillip Rivers, doesn't matter. Seattle's gonna beat that ass. Just feed the rock to Jonathan Taylor so I can get my points. That's all I care for, yo. That's all the fuck I care for. Detroit versus LA Rams. Point spread set at 5.5. Rams being the favorite, and I can understand this. Yes, Rams being favorite. I'm going to have to roll with the Rams on this one, man. Detroit is Detroit, but Detroit is Detroit, if you understand what I mean when I say that. Detroit is Detroit. And I feel like this defense is very, 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 like, flimsy to where it's like, yeah, you could just put up a lot of points on them on average. And the Rams is doing that shit, especially coming off the and the Rams gonna do what they gotta do, man. The Rams know what time it is. They about to sit pretty number one position in the NFC. They're gonna get that bye. So all they gotta do really is just win out. In Detroit, yeah, they gonna make easy work. They not gonna make easy work of Detroit, but they're gonna make work of Detroit. And I don't know what that's gonna do with Detroit chances going into the North, man, with Green Bay and Chicago. And that being said, the next game that's kind of like, the difficult one for me also as a pick is like Green Bay versus Denver. Point spread set at 2.5, Green Bay being the favorite. I can see why Green Bay is the favorite, just because of the high power efficiency of their offense. That can I think that can be too much for the Denver Broncos to handle. The Denver Broncos defense can handle it, but it's crazy because Green Bay is like one of them teams where it's like they got like maybe 2, 3. They got like a plethora of receivers. A plethora of that's the word, of receivers right here. You know what I mean? So Jordan Love can do what he can do. Like Jordan Love can gonna make it do what it do out there. Denver, on the other hand, you know how Denver do, man. You watch a Denver game, bro. It's like, what the fuck? You think they're gonna do this, and then they don't. It's like, why are y'all struggling against these teams and yet they still get the W though, bro? You know what I mean? I can understand what they're going for, but for some reason, I would just choose Denver. They're going to be on my underdog as well, so I'm going to roll with Denver on this one. I can see Green Bay doing it, but I'm going to just roll with Denver. Might be stupid decision, but fuck it. All right, the next game right here. The last game, that was like one of the games I had to watch. And you gotta just pretty much watch this. Put this shit underneath the microscope. It's Miami versus Pittsburgh. Spread set at 3.0. Pittsburgh being the favorite. The only thing that I said that can give Miami the up is there is no TJ Watt in this game right now. He just had heart surgery. All right, big prayers up to TJ Watt and everything. He ain't gonna be able to pass on that secondary and everything with Ramsey and Slay there and whatnot. This is a tricky game though. It's a tricky game, and Miami is back in the race. But all in all, I might just still pick Pittsburgh on the parlay. And that's a Monday night game, I think. And I'll pick Pittsburgh on the parlay and Miami on the underdog. I might just look a little bit more deeper in that before I go for the underdog parlays. But Pittsburgh, I'm going to have to choose Pittsburgh on this one. And those are all the games right there for Week 15. Other than that, I hope you guys win on all your bets. Let's get this money. And I will see you guys on the next episode for teams I got beef with. Hopefully there are no teams that I have beef with so I can get my money. And y'all get paid too. Y'all enjoy your weekend and enjoy the week. Peace.